this is Sia here, and I'm with AJ, and this is the Island Vibe podcast. Today, we're going to jump right into the video, and we will be talking a bit about cancel culture in relation to something that happened recently. So, AJ?
Right. So I think everyone would have known. I mean, everyone does follow social media and everything. So they would have seen a controversial issue, right? Where there was not a known medical practitioner, but he became known, right? A medical practitioner, who there was a video circulating, a recording of him circulating, where he was making disparaging comments to his employee regarding a particular race. Okay, so obviously this was not welcomed by anyone.
Especially this year.
Oh yeah.
Especially this year.
Yeah, this wasn't the time.
This year was cancelled, yeah.
For it, right? So I mean, I have listened to the recording, and if you guys haven't, you could go and do so. It was very fluent language, as he bashed one particular race, and you could tell that those wasn't like the first time it came out his mouth at all. These are things that he probably accustomed to saying, and right. So you could see that the ignorance was thriving basically from his words and from that recording. So the medical board of Trinidad and Tobago, they said they are doing a full investigation. Right, that's all you can say. Nothing really. But the medical practitioner, we're not going to say his name. However, in his apology, he did a press conference, and this was his apology. So I'm going to read a piece of it for you, okay? To my patients and citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, who are the lifeblood of my professional career, I wish to apologize to you for my crude and careless comments. Your wide and varied ethnic and social makeup are indeed a living testament to the fact that the comments which fell from my lips do not represent the manner in which I conduct myself. End quote. So, what do you think about that? Now, what we're going to do is that we're not going to really discuss this particular situation. However, like topics before, we're going to use a particular situation and go into a general topic, right, and discuss something about it. We don't necessarily want to discuss this. However, does this apology in this particular instance require him to be forgiven? And well, the real topic of today's podcast episode is cancel culture. Do we cancel him? Right? And does this apology, whether it's this apology or another apology that is probably more sincere and even more sincere in its delivery, because it wasn't really,
I don't think it was.
But would an apology trump and erase his actions, his initial actions that we might possibly cancel him for?
In a situation like this in particular, there is literally, I think that there's a script at this point. What you do when social media takes up with you and you are exposed.
Right.
You say what you say, you then make a speech or a statement online saying this does not reflect who I am as a person. And because that is the constant way it is, it's really hard for you to know if something is sincere or not. So in a case like this was very poetic, very William Shakespeare-ish, very Elizabethanish,
I mean, he had to try, because then you will say that, he could have tried harder. He could have put pen to paper and try something harder.
But it's so scripted though.
So what? Do you want the person to come with tears in their delivery and say, to my patients, and with tears flowing, like, what do you want?
Again, as I stated, it's really hard to know if an apology is sincere in a situation like this, or any situation that is regarding racism, blatant racism, I might add. It's really hard to say, forgive. It becomes very worrisome in a sense that, how am I supposed to feel as a patient of a certain ethnicity coming to you?
Right.
to now help me. I don't think I'll feel comfortable.
Okay, so you are thinking that he should be a part of come from they should put him in the bucket where they cancel him, right? So that really makes me want to ask you, well, who do we know and when do we know to cancel someone, right? And well, for persons who probably don't know what cancel culture is, I mean, it's actually a relatively new, you know,
Yeah.
movements,
Ideology,
right?
kinda.
Movements kind of thing that happens because of social media, right? So this is when persons may say something, right, that is negative, and basically we rebuke the person for making those sort of statements or claim or even doing something. So they probably did something and their actions do not reflect what the rest of society expects to happen or wants to happen in a very positive light. So, cancel culture. When is it okay? When is it not okay? Is it okay? Is it toxic? What do you think?
That's a lot of questions, AJ. Where do
Well,
I begin?
okay, so cancel culture. Do you agree with cancel culture on the whole?
Okay, I agree with holding people accountable for their actions.
Okay.
However, what cancel culture is, I believe it's very toxic. I mean, bringing up certain situations from the past, especially, you know, like somebody does something in 1995 and they now have a position of power, and you see this comes up and you say,
Right.
okay, let me bring this up, and now they are being held accountable for something, and a decade has passed,
Right.
and they may have learned from the things they say. They may not have been the same person as they was before. It could truly not reflect who they are as a person now, and it could simply be ignorance, where you do not know about a certain group and you make certain statements.
But, okay, so I agree with everything you just now said, right?
Right.
But is it also toxic for the way because it doesn't allow someone to fully redeem themselves? Cancel culture to me seems as if you make one mistake and that's it for you. Like there's no way, like apparently everybody is supposed to be perfect, right? And they cannot make one mistake. Now, in this instance that happened locally, I am not saying that, oh, this is simply just a mistake. I'm not really measuring that. But I want to know, on what terms do you cancel someone and you hold them accountable for that in a very,
Strict.
serious and strict way? Because in this case, people might say, yes, they want the medical board of Trinidad and Tobago to get involved in some way, right? Penalize him in some way because he would have gone against all sorts of ethics, right?
Yeah.
Codes of ethics and conduct, and he would have, in a way, gone against the Hippocratic oath, right?
Right.
That all doctors need to take, or all medical practitioners need to take. So, in what way do we say, yes, he deserves to be cancelled, but then somebody else might say, okay, well, I have seen comments saying, well, they shouldn't, penalize him in any way. He shouldn't have, be put on a cross and be crucified publicly, because he won't do it again ever again. It's a wake-up call for him.
Yes, but it is a wake-up call because he was put on a cross and crucified publicly. If it wasn't broadcast to the public, then this would have continued happening, because I remember watching the video and I remember hearing him say something about him already having money already.
Right. Yes, that's
And I think that statement is very powerful to show who he is as a person. He knows that he has already made his mark as a practitioner. He knows that
He's
he
been
has
privileged in some way.
right, and he knows that at the end of the day, jump high, jump low, still have money in the bank. It would affect things in the future, yes, but he knows that what he did was wrong, and he said that y'all could, and he didn't say y'all could try to could cancel me, but he did make a statement where it's like, okay, I still have money.
So let us say that he never has a patient come to him ever again in life. Do you say it's good for him, or hopefully one day, he could redeem himself, and the public could love him normal again? I mean, whatever, right? Right, love him to an extent again. But now for the rest of his life, people going to say, hey, that is the doctor who made such and such remarks. We're not going to like him. We are not going to forgive him. Is that okay? Is that okay for you to say, we wash our hands of you?
You're
right?
done.
Box
You're
yourself in a
fired.
box and leave, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's the hard part about the cancel culture.
Yeah, like deciding exactly what to stand for in certain situations.
Right.
But again, I feel like certain things are just like morals, and again, you said that when
But not everyone is perfect. Somebody might slip up. I mean, I don't know how you could slip up and become racist.
That's it for me. And that is my point. That is what I am trying to say.
Yeah.
It is okay for someone to slip up and do certain things and know, okay, wow, I didn't realize that this was something that would have offended a particular group.
Right.
But when you are out here using certain terms that you know is wrong, because I mean, you are a practitioner, and if you are a practitioner, you would have gotten some type of education prior to that. And I am pretty sure, although you studied in a certain field, you would have gotten some general knowledge on these things. You would have known something about slavery and all these things.
But he is trying to redeem himself. He is saying that he's somewhere it would have been reported that he said he's going to make the necessary arrangements to undergo the necessary sensitivity training to avoid future mishaps.
But what? So, what is that training? How are we supposed to know that he's actually doing that? Again, this apology sounds so scripted.
So if one of us makes something and we make a slip up somehow, not regarding race, but regarding something, but it's a general mistake, aren't we allowed to be forgiven for it?
I feel like it shows, and I could say that from experience, because I am a person, I have somewhat of a social media presence. I won't say so, but the amount of times people try to cancel me.
From all walks of life.
From all areas of life. Somebody tried to
from all geographical locations in Trinidad and Tobago.
No, we went international recently.
Right.
Someone tried to call me, I don't know what to call it, Islamophobic? Is that a term?
I guess it is,
But they tried to make it seem like I was against Muslim people because of a comment I replied to on a specific app.
Right.
And then when I explained, the person who tried to make me out for it, who I don't know from anywhere,
right.
She was commenting under my posts on that app, and people were like, what she say? Tell me what she say. And like a whole chain of comments asking what I said. And now I confused because I know me, madam, never do that.
Right.
Will never do that because, I don't discriminate against anyone. When I did realize what comment she was talking about, it was basically someone commented something and I replied to the comments because actually the person said, I love it when Muslim women blow up.
Right.
And we obviously know what that pun means.
Yeah.
Especially on an app like TikTok,
with
Gen Z involved.
But then you don't know if the person actually meant it. Because some people would definitely make those kind of sly puns.
We know that they meant
and giving them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't mean it like that.
But anyway, they removed their comments.
Right.
Because they know what they meant.
Okay.
And people were attacking them for it.
Okay.
And then my comment remained, which I can't remember what it was, but the person thought that I was against with Muslim women for it. And then she started up a fuel amongst me and people in Trinidad. And I had to find out what the comment was that I commented under, then justify myself. And people were like, okay, yeah, no. Even the girl who tried to accuse me apologized.
Right.
And that is a sense where to see, okay, someone was going to be cancelled under the wrong circumstances.
But you would have owned up to it and you would have right your wrong, right?
Right.
Because it wasn't really a wrong, it just was a misunderstanding. But that's in a way that cancel culture could be toxic because people don't really know the root of something and want to judge the person But when a person presents themselves and you see that is them and what they meant, like how plenty celebrities, especially in recent times, would have been cancelled for something that they would have found, you would have dug up in their tweets from 2009, right, over 10 years ago.
And I think that's when people need to know to draw the line in cancel culture. Like, is that something...
But do they need to go through a whole another apology? Because look at Kevin Hart when he was saying, look how much times years before he would have apologized. He just hadn't apologized within the last 5 years because apparently no one knew that he had to make an apology. The apology.
To be honest, if I was him, I would have just forced the thread of my apologies prior and like, hi, we have overcome this.
I know, but people who didn't know about
yes,
it would now know about it and feel, wait, he felt that way? I don't want to support that person anymore. So then it really makes us think that is cancel culture dependent on what the situation is? Like, is it situational?
I definitely believe it is situational.
Situational meaning on the person or what the person's actions. Because with the same how you might hold a doctor accountable, will you hold a celebrity accountable, will you hold a male accountable as much as a female, or female as much as a male regarding a particular topic, right?
As much as I want to say it is situational in the sense that the topic at hand,
right,
we know in today's society it's not. It should be situational depending on what, again, the situation, obviously. But again, depending on the person's prestige and the power they hold, that has a lot to do with if they do experience cancel culture. Because I remember, again, scrolling through our app, and one of the most recent cancellations that happened in Hollywood was Doja.
Right.
And somebody was somebody asked...
That really makes no sense to me.
No, somebody asked if they were like, wait, isn't she cancelled? And somebody was like, nah, she's just grounded. She just got suspended.
So then it makes you really think now, well, for persons who are in public, well, he not in the public, this person, this medical practitioner wasn't in the public life, but he gets put in the public life, but it makes you now think about what you're doing both in your private life and in your public life.
Yeah.
Right? And it makes you,
That's
think and say, is this what I'm doing? Is it morally right?
That's true, because again, he would not have expected this video to
exactly
be public.
It was a phone call.
Yeah.
So you won't think that a phone call between you and someone else is going to be made so that everyone could see it, and now the board is investigating you, and now you're on local news stations and even
international.
Right, because I saw another foreign news station reporting that they said the full name from Trinidad and Tobago and reporting on it.
Yeah.
So now it makes you think and say, I have to think before I speak. I have to think before I post.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, is it too much to be sensitive of things that you probably...
Yes, but how hard it is to not be racist though?
Okay, for
like,
that
is not something about sensitivity.
For that, and what about things that you probably didn't even realize that a certain sector in society is going to be offended by that? So probably not a race comment, but well, as you know, as time goes by, all of a sudden things are evolving, and we have less freedoms on what we say and what is acceptable in society. So something that probably was funny again 10 years ago, it probably isn't funny now, right? Using certain terms is not allowed now, right? Or more people probably hasn't been allowed, but more people are making a bigger outcry and saying this is unacceptable because you're affecting this group of people. You're affecting this group of people, and we want you to stop because it's insensitive. I don't even know what else to say.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's sad that it always depends on who it is.
Right. Yeah, that's the next
thing. A big thing. Like, it's always dependent on who it is, because if someone else does something like this, a lot of times they won't get the same treatment. Because I remember you were saying about another practitioner.
Right. Somebody who was now started their practice earlier. Yeah. She was not beginning her practice. I can't remember. It was very new, right? Mm-hmm. She was not beginning her practice, and she was cancelled for her remarks, even though she was at another level. She wasn't in private practice. She was doing practice under the Ministry of Health. But, she would have been cancelled publicly. And now the public has already said they're cancelling this practitioner publicly also. But I just cancel culture is a funny thing. I feel as if it's an ongoing thing. And I feel as if we're going to also come back to this topic as things happen.
Yeah.
Right? Locally
definitely.
and internationally. Because it's always going to come up. It's always going to be like, should we have treated this person the same way? Or should they have been gotten a blind? Right? Should they have been excused? Or are we judging them too harshly? So, I mean, cancel culture is a topic we are going to come back to in the future. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
When whoever decides to get cancelled
Slip up
next.
again.
You know, we'll be waiting.
This will be this will be for you.
Right, we're waiting. So, I think that's it for today's episode.
Yeah.
So, we will continue this on time and, you know, yeah, so thank you for watching today's episode of the Island Vibe podcast. Be sure to check us out every Thursday at 7 p.m. And you can follow us on the Island Vibe on Instagram. And, you know, you can let us know your comments. And, you know, probably we'll include it in a future episode. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask us questions as well.
Guys,
leave your questions and we could address them. We could ask the public for you anonymously.
And always thank you for your support. So, bye.
Bye.